Hello and welcome back. I decided to paint the blue. You see it's a bit messy in places, so it's time to give it a sanding. As you can see, I've just sanded it here, 400 grit sandpaper, and just got to wash that off. There we are, washed it off, and ready for the masking tape. Quick wipe down with Dull, and then to touch up the rust. This masking tape, look, it is pinstriping masking tape, the lowest tack you can get, very thin. I thought to myself, use thin masking tape. Decided to do a corner on there to match the rest. So it's all ready now for a coat of paint. It was very, very windy, quite warm, not the conditions to paint it really, and I've painted it there, but as soon as I put a brush on it, it sort of dried almost instantly. So you can see that brush stroke there dried straight away. Wasn't really the conditions to paint it really. It's a little bit orange peely. I mean, it settles down later on, this paint does. I mean, you see it now, but that's because it's still wet. Oh look, oh unbelievable. Pulled the tape off, look what happened, it pulled the paint off with it. Oh, gutted, I'm sick of this now. I have to do all the painting by hand from now on. Paint starts to settle down, it looks nicer later on. There we are, look, the white paint's come off, every bit of paint's come off. It's got to be the undercoating or what I've done to the boat when I first primed it or something. The paint's just not sticking. As soon as I put any tape on it, I've told you before about this low tack tape I'm using, it's really low tack. But the blue looks really nice, I must admit that. It settled down later, and it's a gorgeous blue that is. Got some paint together, put a bit of thinners in it, decided to touch it up a little bit. That's all I can do really, I can't do anything else with it. It looks a bit different colour here, but it does actually blend in quite well later on when it dries. You can see here, look, it's dried really well, thank goodness, you know. There's a few bits of blue that have come off in places, you can see there. Filthy finger pointing. And but I just salvaged what I could, you know. I've got to do the white now. The white's next, which should be easier, but just shows you from now on, no more masking. Disaster at the moment. I've got no forward throttle or no reverse, no power at all. Acceleration here, there's nothing happening when I move this lever here. Nothing's happening on the accelerator pump there, look. I'll move this lever all the way. Oh, it didn't snap, please don't say it snapped. If it snapped, I'm stuffed. I think this cable here goes behind into there. You can see that. It's that mechanism. I was hoping I could access the back of that cable, but I can't. Oh, blimey. Can't access that. I was hoping to get to the back, to get to the cable behind, but oh dear. Right, next step. It's just totally, the camera angles are all weird because I can't get in there. It's just so totally inaccessible. I'm going to have to chop some of this wood out here to get my hands in. It's just, I can show you how odd it is to go in here. I've got to crawl in that space there and go behind there, try and get up there. Oh dear. Snap from the very top though, but it's not snapped there. As you can see there, it's snapped on that section. So if I can get it through, try and drill that out, put a little hole in it and try and clamp it somehow. Try and clamp the cable from there to there, you know, with an electrical connector or something to get me out of trouble till I can get one. Oh lordy. And all I've got is one of these, slightly larger, and I've crimped them both together like that. Now I'm just going to crimp that around there, and hopefully that'll just hold them together till I get. I can't solder it because it's stainless. I don't think I can solder it on stainless, can I? I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll bend that over when I've finished, And then I'm going to bend that round there, and hopefully, God, just gets me by, you know, for that vice, you know, otherwise I couldn't do this, just couldn't physically do it by hand. I've crimped that on that wire now, I've crimped it there, I'm going to bend that over, and it feels, I'm pulling that pretty hard, you know. Got to get a new cable. Woo! Bent it a little bit there. If I bend it any more, I think I'm going to snap this. This is not designed to bend. I think it's just stainless rods inside these cables. So anyway, that hopefully now should last me. If there's enough acceleration on there to get me by, I'll take it. Made a bit of a balls up. I've attached these cables together. They're pretty strong actually, but it's got to go through. It's got to go through there, look. Through there. And this won't go through. Oh shit. So what I'm thinking of doing is having to cut a slot in there to get this cable through, so I can just slot it on like that, you know, rather than try and feed it through. Oh man, why didn't I think of that earlier? What I've done is I've hacksawed a little slot there, lot, which I can feed that cable through hopefully, and see how we get on from there. Whoa, this is a job and a half, isn't it? To put some tape around there and reclamp. It's supposed to be there on that clip. That's how much snapped off there. Just enough to get enough acceleration. Let me show you. I'm getting acceleration now, just enough, not full power, to get me to the next parking spot or town or marina or something. In here, look, is clamp this. I'll try and show you. See that now, look, it's clamping. It's got to move, you see. It's got to move with. It's got to move with that cable, you see. So the cable's going up and down now, and this has got to slide across. I'm just hoping that sorts it out. Oh. That is maximum power. That's flat out now, that is. If I have to use full power to reverse or anything, I'm stuffed. To be honest with you, I'm crapping myself. Look at that. Brand new cable. That cable was 40 quid, including postage and VAT. VAT was £6 something, so 40 quid delivered. I'll take that. That was £25 and the rest of it was all charges. If it's time to fit that, just got to take these off and then get this cable out off. Now I've got to get that screw out up there to get that pivot, whatever you call it, off. Got to get that off, get that cable out. Got to take that cable off there. I put a zippy on as well to hold it because the tape was getting hot and it was slipping, so get that off. Snippy snip, snip that off there. There we are. That's it. It just pulls back, I think, if I can see it. It pulls off like that. So, get that off there. There we are. That's the end of that one. Just sprung loaded, which is really good, isn't it? I've got to get this end off. This end should screw off. Oh, like that. And I'll go onto the new, like so. And that's just a sprung loaded clip. Very clever. Right, okay, so that cable should come out now. If I was clever, I'd use this cable, I'd tape the new cable to this cable and feed it through. But I'm not going to do that, and I'll show you why, because this cable's been fed wrong from the start, so I'll show you in a minute. There, can't you? I put a Jubilee clip round there and that round there to hold it, and then that's held up really well, to be honest. That's really solid. Putting those two cables together probably would have lasted ages, you know, but got me out of trouble, thank goodness. Got me out of trouble. Get this up there. Cable's got to come out of here. It's got to come round. This is the reason why that cable needs to be refed. Can you see that? Because it was resting on the exhaust. I got a funny smell when the engine got hot. It was this burning away. This wasn't the cause of the snap though, it was just wear and tear. Yeah. Wow. Pull that out. I'm going to rethread the whole cable through a new direction. I'm stuck on something. Back through now. I don't think it looks exactly the same either end, so it doesn't matter which way I feed it through. It's just that the key element is those ends. Those ends go on. Fed that through now, and hopefully I've gone round away from the exhaust this time. All I've got to do now is get this back on. I've lost a clip off there from somewhere. It fell inside the engine. I can hear it going ding 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 down to the bottom, but can I find it? I've also got to find some washers for this. If you can see that there, look, it's all ski whiffed. I've just bodged it back on so I could use it. This has got to come out slightly so the top cap can clip on. So I've got to find some spaces for that, because there's like little wood bits behind there and they've all fallen down somewhere, and organise that. Okay, this, I know it's a pain in the arse to look at, but this keeps the door closed. Otherwise the door just falls open, you know, all the time like that. That's really bloody annoying. It's windy, it's smelly as well today. It's windy and it's nippy, so that keeps that door closed. You're thinking, what's he got that horrible bungee on there for? Keeps the door closed. Why don't you put some elaborate spring system on it? Will you come and do it then for me? You know, I'm busy cruising. Anyway, there we are. Get your fingers in there and get some grease on your hands. That's how you do it. Okay. Just slap a load of grease in there. I don't think this top one's being used, but I'm going to put a load of grease in there anyway. I'm going to screw this end bit onto there. But I've got to do it in situ so you can't see that. I don't know whether you can see this or not, but I've clipped it back into, get a torch on it. Really hard to show anything here. I've clipped it back into that clip, and that clip's been a bit mullered, trying to get the old one out. So I've got to put this R clip back into that clip there, and I'll do it and I'll show you. All right. In here, I've now dropped the R clip somewhere in this engine bay. I heard it going ding ding ding. Oh God, where's that gone? Just greased everything here. You can see that white grease everywhere. You've got to understand this is a very tight spot to get into. I can work with one hand and that's it. I want another hand above my head, sort of thing. So it's a really tight squeeze. I've just got to tighten this up now, and they're not too tight because I don't want to strip the threads. I found that washer. It'd fallen, it went ding 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 behind the batteries. It's a bloody nightmare to find that. All I've got to do now is check it all works, and these cables adjust, you see, for acceleration. Put that back on. I don't know if you can notice, but there is like a little tiny recess in the copper clamp, or that copper coloured clamp. It's got a clip into that. just testing it all before I tighten everything up properly, you know, making sure I've got enough acceleration. It's only revving out at about 2,500 RPM, so I need to pull this off. See there, I'll twist it a few turns so I get more revs, you know. Let's take it up a little bit more. That's maximum now, so that's all I'm going to get out of it. So that brings it to there, about there. Just going to clip that. It starts accelerating about there. All that there is just a bit of play. The throttle body, I'd imagine, or the pump, starts working about there. So I'm going to try it about there and see how I get on. Actually, I've realised you need a little bit of slack, because as you pull this forward, if the revs increase too early, it'll smash into gear, which it's doing now. So I need that much play on it and ticking over till it goes into gear, then it revs, you know. So to adjust that back up again. Going to put a blob of grease on that nipple before I reassemble it. Then I'm going to put this back on again. If I can. It's not easy. You have to need two hands, I think. Yeah. Just got to zippy tie this cable in certain areas. I don't know whether that's BSC approved, but I'm going to zippy tie it probably to here, to that hole there. Look, I'll zip it tight to there, and that should be it. Hopefully that'll be enough. I'm just going to tighten this nut up here, make sure that's tight. I ain't got a spanner small enough. It's in the van, so hopefully I can use this. Tighten it up. That's all greased. I was going to recheck that screw up there, and that's it. Ooh. I think this is some kind of oil bath thing. Anyway, I'm putting grease in there. Maybe I should have put 3-in-1 in there, I'm not sure, but it's getting grease for now. Just want to make sure that everything's lubricated before it goes back into the darkness, you know, back into not seeing it again. Before, this cover wouldn't clip on, now it clips on there. Now I've put some spacers on, so that's a bit neater. Just got to put this lever back on. Just got to tighten the little grub screw underneath, and then hopefully that should be the end of the job. I don't really want to be doing this again for a long time. That feels really, really smooth now. It's a lot easier than what it used to be. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, because I bloody didn't. It's a pain in the arse, and I'll crap in myself. But thanks for watching anyway. Ooh.